I request you all to kindly rise for National Anthem of Islamic Republic of Pakistan. For the recitation from Holy Quran, I invite Qari Hafiz Bilal.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى السماء كيف رفعت وإلى الجبال كيف نصبت وإلى الأرض كيف سطحت فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر إلا من تولى وكفر فيعذبه الله العذاب الأكبر إن إلينا إيابهم ثم إن علينا حسابهم صدق الله العظيم.
I request all the dignitaries to kindly take their seats at this stage.
कॉल किया वैसे इतना ये रुका दिया सा
Honorable Chief Guests, dignitaries, respected guests, faculty members, and very dear students, Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. I, Dr. Maria Akil Khan, feel privileged to welcome you all in the inaugural ceremony of IPVS Satellite Symposium on Human Papillomavirus and Cervical Cancer. This symposium is jointly organized by Dr. Panjwani Center for Molecular Medicine and Drug Research at ICCBS University of Karachi, the International Papillomavirus Society, and ComSec Virology Lab Alliance, providing a platform for the awareness about HPV and cervical cancer. Now, I am pleased to invite my dear teacher, Professor Dr. Muhammad Iqbal Chaudhry, Director, International Center for Chemical and Biological Sciences, for the welcome address.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning and good afternoon, because we have several people online as well. Excellency, our Minister, very dear sister, Dr. Azra Sahiba, Excellency, Consul General of Germany, Dr. Lutz, thank you very much. We welcome you to Pakistan, and we also welcome you to ICCBS. Our very dear teacher, Professor Dr. Ataur Rahman, Patron Chief ICCBS, and dear friend, Professor Dr. Thomas Ifner, and also co-organizer of this event. Delegates from different countries, vice chancellors, very especially, sir, Mr. Qasim Sobro, chairman of the Parliamentary Committee for Health, very important person and very upright and action oriented. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for gracing this occasion, the inauguration of the first ever IPVS, International Papilloma Virus Society Symposium in the country. Let me begin by thanking Professor Azra for a lot of good deeds. You know, she is extremely busy. She is busy in handling a post-flood health challenges of sin. She is right in the center of the activities, rehabilitation, whole range of different things are actually happening. Sparing time for this event is certainly something which we do greatly appreciate, because she addresses the problems of healthcare right from the core, and this is also one of the most important priorities of her handling HPV. I'm also grateful to delegates from some 19 countries who are visiting here, traveling long distances from USA to UK, from Europe to Sweden, from Malaysia to Indonesia, many countries of the Arab world, and they are here with us of sharing a mission of ours, and that mission is originated from a discussion which we had with our Honorable Minister, Dr. Azra, I, and Professor Dr. Thomas Ifna. We went to meet her, and then we had this very profound discussion of HPV and why it is important to handle the problem at different levels. Because one need to handle the problem at treatment and prevention level. We also need to handle the problem at the research level in order to understand, because HPV is one of the most underrated diseases, viral diseases, and understanding and awareness about HPV is unfortunately extremely primitive or very poor. Now, this is indeed a multidisciplinary event, because we have inventory of scientific presentations which you would hear from some of the top scientists in the field, both in person and online, but also you would also be witnessing some of the important sessions which are designed on the advice of Dr. Azra, that we need to have this event as part of raising the awareness and sensitization about this problem. HPV, as I said, that extremely prevalent, and according to a recent article published in Lancet Oncology, Pakistan is becoming a hotspot of HPV infections, with increasing risk of cervical cancer in some 86 million women of the age of 15 and older. And at the research level, we have a very less understanding. At awareness level, since There are many things, including sex education, is considered to be a taboo in this country. As a result of it, not much is known about this spread, and general public is absolutely unaware of this looming problem all around us. Now, I don't want to go into detail of it. I'm certainly the most unqualified person to talk about HPV. There are much better people who would present to you about this important issue, an important issue which has unfortunately not been properly addressed. And only recently, when Dr. Azra has taken a lead and she has initiated many projects, including screening of maternity, pregnant women and high-risk population, as well as creating awareness about possibility of immunization in certain groups. I think this has been largely a neglected area of healthcare research. Now, why it is important to have in healthcare research, and why it is been a priority of Ministry of Health and Population Welfare of SID. Because you see, our leadership is trying to increase the access to healthcare and also to the quality of healthcare. Equity and quality in healthcare they are priorities of our leadership. At the same time, it's very, very important for us to understand why these diseases are so prevalent in our countries. Why we have the highest epilepsy in the world, 1.9%, 1.9 people in 1,000 population. 1.9% of population with epilepsy. Why we have hepatitis among the highest in the world, 7.9% people with hepatitis. Why we have this yearly epidemics of increasing ferociousness, of dengue, and then emerging diseases like Zika and Congo, and Minister Sahaba knows about that, and she has been trying to address the problem at different levels. And right in this spirit, our minister wants us to initiate several projects, and that she has declared this institution as the Healthcare Research Center for Government of Sindh and for the Ministry of Health. And there are a number of things which she would actually tell us about. Dr. Panjwani Center, which is a gift of Nada Panjwani Sahiba, chairperson of Dr. Panjwani Memorial Trust, is certainly a very important step forward, because we understand diseases with symptoms, but understanding diseases at the molecular level, understanding why they happen and how they spread, what is the latency and other, the whole range of different research issues which should be addressed in order to prevent the disease to occur rather than to treat. And this center has contributed in last 18 years in a major way of understanding several diseases. And I'm just very pleased to tell you a few of that. It's very, very difficult for me to summarize the contributions of my wonderful colleague, the faculty of ours. But let me tell you that we were the first one to develop pre-diabetic model, a credible pre-diabetic animal model. We were able to identify compounds, drug candidate for the treatment of leishmaniasis, and the phase 2 clinical trials were conducted. We have developed a very high quality stem cell laboratory and thus laid the foundation of a regenerative medicine unit, which is one of the priorities of our ministry. We have worked in the field of neurological disorders, epilepsy and Parkinson, and both of them right now pending for phase 2 and phase 3 clinical trials with the Drug Regulatory Authority of Pakistan. We had the first complete human genome in this country, and that was back in 2008. We have been very, very active during the COVID-19, and we've been assigned to work right at the center of it, from genome variants detections to conducting very high quality tests. About 0.5 million tests we have conducted in our BSL-3, which was completed within a month on the instruction of Dr. Azra. And that laboratory now is our core strength of this country, because this is part of the National Institute of Virology, which was established in 2018. Kind of a divine help that before COVID came, we were able to establish an institution in collaboration of Wuhan Institute of Virology. So it was certainly the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we had an institution working. And as a result of it, we were able to go right in the center of it. And of course, we work on different aspects of it. including vertical transfer from mother to child. And we published some seminal papers on how this actually happened. This is the only laboratory which is triply recognized by DRAP for pipeline studies, for clinical trials, as well as for contractual research. That is a very high quality certified facility for that. And then, of course, we have many more contributions. I just wanted to highlight you because right at the core of understanding diseases at the molecular level, there is a need of very competent people, equally strong infrastructure, institutional support, and of course, sustained way of moving forward. It's also part of the training of graduates. So our graduates have actually established many molecular medicine centers in different universities of the country. We are SIREN, which is Sin Innovation Research Education Network, SIREN, and that links majority of the universities in Sindh with a seamless learning platform. So when I deliver a lecture, people can listen to me in Kharagpur or in Sakhar and other universities of the country of Sindh. That seamless learning platform is for resource sharing, for research collaboration, as well as for conferences and a whole range of different things. I don't want to tell you more about that. How much is known about it? A lot is not, because we spend most of our time in doing work, then spreading it. And this is what Minister Saiba often tell us, that you need to market yourself. We're absolutely poor in marketing, but certainly we have a great support of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our minister. Thank you very much, sir. Madam, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Unfortunately, Ms. Nadra Panjwani, Chairperson, Dr. Panjwani Memorial Trust, is not well and cannot join us in the ceremony. So moving forward, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Thomas Ifner, Director of the Institute for Medicinal Virology and Epidemiology for Viral Diseases, Germany, for his address.
So on behalf of the Eberhard Karls University in Tübingen in Germany, which is one of the 10 excellent universities of the world, in Germany actually, sorry, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you, especially to the Minister of Health and Welfare, to Professor Atta Rahman, to the Consul General Rüdiger Lotz, and also clearly to Professor Iqbal Chudari, and not to forget about faculty members and most importantly the students of this institution. This very important conference gives us the opportunity for the first time to openly and widely discuss the topic of cervical cancer prevention, with the aim to raise the awareness about this disease, that an infectious agent actually, namely papillomaviruses, can cause cancer. And that makes it a very unique malignancy, because in comparison to breast cancer, which is caused by several mutations in the DNA leading to different types of breast cancer, cervical cancer is a unique malignancy in the way that is caused by a single agent, and that gives us the opportunity to really prevent and eliminate cervical cancer from the stage by vaccination at a young age to prevent the infection, and also by screening for the necessary major risk factor, which are certain high-risk types papillomaviruses. So this conference brings together a group of international experts with a very high reputation to cover all aspects of cervical cancer prevention. And I hope this is inspiring further actions of the government, and also more discussions about the topic, how to implement cervical cancer prevention in Pakistan. I don't want to take away too much more time of you. And before I come to an end, I would like to thank the organizing committee under the guidance of Professor Iqbal Chudari here, that tirelessly worked to make this conference happen. And I wish all of you a stimulating conference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have Professor Dr. Suzanne Garland, President, International Papillomavirus Society, Australia, with us online. So it's my pleasure to invite Professor Dr. Suzanne Garland for her online address. Suzanne Garland, can you?
Yes. Hello, everybody, distinguished staff and guests at the International Centre for Chemical and Biological Sciences in Karachi. I thank you for the honour of your invitation to participate on this really momentous occasion, honouring and commemorating the 80th birthday of the meritorious scientist, Professor Atta Rahman, and celebrating his achievements, especially in organic chemistry and being an UNESCO Science Laureate. Congratulations. It's my privilege to welcome all participants to this very important gathering that on women's health and entitled HPV and cervical cancer. And I'd like to firstly wish to acknowledge and express the profound sadness we all feel over the natural disaster suffered here in Pakistan with climate change and severe flooding, and has resulted in significant deaths and severe hardship to the peoples of your country. And travel issues have regrettably meant that I've not been able to attend physically with you today, although I remain online each day and evening to participate in the meetings. And I participate in the 3-day meeting as a clinical microbiologist and a sexual health physician. And I'm from the University of Melbourne and the Royal Women's Hospital in Melbourne. And I've been researching HPV for a long period of time, actually around 40 years, actually from virus detection when molecular techniques were very modern, to phase 3 clinical trials, which I participated in, and then to actual vaccine rollout as a public health tool, and then surveillance, looking at translation to infection and subsequent disease reduction from these amazing vaccines. And in my address this morning, your time, I will share my own country's developments in these areas. And I look forward to Pakistan being part of some of the initiatives we've developed in the region. And I was the inaugural president of AOGEN, which is the Asia Oceania Research Organization on Genital Infections and Neoplasia. And as well, I'm the president of the International Papillomavirus Society, or IPVS. That is, as you can see here, the global authority on papillomaviruses. And IPVS strongly endorses this meeting here in Karachi. It has, as you can see at the end of that first slide, over 70 countries who've participated in the society, but we don't have anyone yet from Pakistan. So all you young people working on HPV, think about it. And if I could go to the next slide, please. This just gives you a bit of an idea on some of the things that we're involved in, some of the things which are fundamental to good health programs being successful, that of education and advocacy. And the next slide, we have a lot of detail in terms of the things that we do. Sorry, next slide. You can see there's an education centre, there's up-to-date webinars every month, etc. So I really would like to see you young people researching, whether it be in basic science, clinical, or in public health, to become members of IPVS. So I finish off by saying my thanks and congratulations to all the organisers of this special event, and especially to Professor Thomas Ifner from the University of Tübingen in Germany, and locally Professor Chowdhury, Arad and Farouk. And of course, I'd like to wish a very happy birthday to Professor Atta Rahman. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Suzanne Garland. Now I am pleased to invite Professor Dr. Patty Gravitt, Deputy Director, National Institute of Health, Center of Global Health, United States, for her online address.
Hello, good afternoon. It's really an honor and a privilege for me to be here with you on this inaugural event. I was so delighted when Professors Ifner and Chowdhury invited me to join you. I am so disappointed that I'm not able to be there with you in person, but I think this is a tremendous opportunity for us to come together as kind of world leaders in science around human papillomavirus and cervical cancer, and try to take our knowledge and really understand that we do science for a very particular reason, and that's to save lives. And I think this is one of the times where we have such a tremendous opportunity to take what we understand and what we know and work together with our communities to try to deploy some decades-long research activities to actually preventing a cancer which takes women, our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, very early in their lives oftentimes. And I think that one of the things that I hope we can do in this conference is to keep that top of mind, is that everything we're doing is really to the benefit of some of the most core and central members of our society, and that is the women that we live and work with. I've started my career.
Excuse me, Professor
30,
Patty
yeah.
Gravitt, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, great. I started my career nearly 30 years ago working on papillomavirus and cervical cancer, first as a molecular biologist, then as an epidemiologist, and more recently in a newly defined field of implementation science. And I think it's in this latter field that I want to emphasize and hope that we can work together with our communities to find a way to take the scientific advances that we've all been part of making towards the elimination of cervical cancer and finding a way to deploy them into our communities in ways, again, that really help to reduce premature mortality from women of this devastating cancer. Again, it's my pleasure to be here. I as well will try to join as much as I can online, and hope to be with you all in person soon enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Patty Gravitt. Now, I feel honored to invite His Excellency, Mr. Rudiger Luz, Consul General of Federal Republic of Germany, for his address.
Dear Minister of Health, Dr. Azra, Professor Chowdhury, Professor Ifner, Professor Rahman, dear panelists, distinguished guests, faculty members, dear students, very good morning to all of you. It's a pleasure for me to be here, in particular, since I only arrived in Karachi some days ago. So that's about the first public event I participate in. And I think it's a very pleasant occasion on a very serious topic, of course. As you know, the subject of with which we are dealing today is a subject of utmost importance, and it requires immediate action in order to prevent the disease. I can tell you a little bit shortly about the German efforts. Germany is one of the most important research centers for cancer in the world, and in particular the German Cancer Research Center. It's the largest biomedical research institution in Germany. You have 1,300 scientists investigating how cancer develops, to identify cancer risk factors, and in particular, of course, to search for new strategies to prevent people from developing cancer. They are developing new methods to diagnose tumors more precisely and to treat cancer patients more successfully. As you might know, the former chairman of the German Cancer Research Center received the Nobel Prize in 2008 for the discovery that HPV can cause cervical cancer. Now, given that background, I think it's a particular pleasure to see this cooperation internationally, but also in particular between Pakistani scientists and German scientists. It's also for me very impressive to see that huge international participation here. And it really proves how that institution here is an institution that is perceived as a center of excellence in the world. So all the more reason that I'm delighted to see the cooperation between the ICCBS and the University of Tübingen. It is really remarkable how both the institutes aim to establish a cooperation in various areas, both academic and scientific. Ladies and gentlemen, globally, cervical cancer is still the fourth most common cancer in women, and particularly in poorer countries. The number of cases is still scandalously high. But as we know, vaccination can make a difference. Vaccination can make an important contribution to protecting women from cancer, or it can even contribute to eliminate cervical cancer. Data from around the world are showing that the effectiveness of HPV vaccination, but the success of HPV vaccination programs depends not only on the efficiency, on the effectiveness of the vaccine, but also on the proportion of the population vaccinated. And I think here we still really face enormous challenges all over the world, also in my country, to try to increase the number of vaccinations. So I think it's all about research, that's key, but it's also about raising the awareness for the challenge we are facing. So in this respect, I wish you a successful symposium, good talks, and I thank the organizers and the sponsors of this event, and I wish you a successful conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now it's my pleasure to invite Professor Dr. Khalid Mahmood Iraqi, Vice Chancellor, University of Karachi, for his address.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Chief guest, Dr. Azra Fazal Pejo, Minister of Health and Population Welfare, Government of Sindh, Professor Dr. Ataur Rahman, President-in-Chief of ICCBS, the speakers, Professor Dr. Thomas Ifner from Germany, Professor Dr. Suzanne Garland from Australia, Professor Dr. Piti Gravity from United States of America, and His Excellency Roger Rult, the Consul General of Federal Republic of Germany, distinguished guests, speakers, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It is indeed an honor and privilege for me to be part of this international event being organized by ICCBS, International Center for Chemical and Biological Sciences at the University of Karachi. I'm glad that this important scientific and community outreach, even on a topic of immense health importance. As speakers earlier talk about the polymerase virus and cervical cancer, and putting emphasis in terms of research. I think the world in which we are living, it's about, as Dr. Ataur Rahman talked about, science and bridging the gap between the developed and the developing nation. It is about investment in research, and particularly in terms of developing nation like Pakistan. I think we are facing different diseases, and today the topic is about the virus and the cervical virus, commonly found in female population. But at the same time, the flood which has affected Pakistan, we are being affected by different viruses as well. So the way forward, as the German Consul Journal talked about, is vaccination. The West is doing a lot of work when the COVID was hit and getting vaccine for COVID-19. Today in Pakistan, still we are talking about different viruses. I am very pleased to see that this particular center of University of Karachi, that is ICCBS, is taking a lead, not only at national level, but at international level as well, in terms of research, the viral diseases, and the different scientific advancement. Under the leadership of Dr. Ataur Rahman and Iqbal Chaudhry, I think they have established this center as a center of excellence beyond any doubt. And I feel that our faculty members, they have a very strong research background and committed to their work and with commitment and dedication. I am particularly thankful to Dr. Azra Pejo Saiba, Minister of Health and Welfare, for supporting this center. Most of the time, we see lack of support from the government, but in the field of health, Dr. Saiba has played a very instrumental role and important role in the province of Sindh. And she is an example for us that if you are interested in work and if you are committed, you can achieve your goals and target. And I am particularly thankful to Dr. Saiba for supporting this center, having a collaboration between ICCBS and the government of Sindh and the health department. I am particularly thankful to all the speakers who have traveled all the way from different countries to be part of this event. They have their expertise, they have their knowledge. I think with their expertise and knowledge and deliberation in this conference, it is going to benefit us. Generally, in a conference, when I was a student, I used to participate in a conference in order to reach order or consensus. My experience was such conferences and symposium, they create more disorder because you have different perspective and different ideas. So this order is not something in a negative manner. I think we need a much broader perspective about different issues, and particularly we want to benefit from your research in different areas. So I think ICCBS has provided a platform for international speakers and national speakers as well, in order to have a dialogue on different subjects and different issues. So I wish you your stay in Pakistan, a very pleasant stay in Pakistan, and we want to welcome you in Pakistan, and we want to see a more collaboration between Pakistan and the different international communities. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Now I humbly request our respected teacher, Professor Dr. Ataur Rahman, Patent Chief, International Center for Chemical and Biological Sciences, to address us.
Dr. Azra Pejo, Honorable Minister of Health of the Government of Sindh, Professor Khalid Iraqi, Vice Chancellor of Karachi University, His Excellency Mr. Lutz, the Honorable Consul General, welcome to Pakistan. You've been here just for a week, you said. Professor Ifna, thank you for organizing this symposium. It's all your efforts and our continuing collaboration with Tübingen that is making this happen. Professor Iqbal Chaudhry, continue the great work that you are doing. Thank you. I'd like to thank Professor Patty Gravitt from USA and Professor Suzanne from Garland from Australia for her inputs and valuable collaboration. I would like to also especially thank all the visiting foreign faculty members and the Pakistani scientists who have come from distant areas to participate in this symposium, and of course the students and technical people and others. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, a very good morning to you. So Dr. Azra, we are very grateful to you. First of all, let me say that, and I speak with all sincerity and conviction that this province and this country is very fortunate to have a person of your caliber and your determination, your conviction in order to promote health in Sindh. So we are really fortunate, and thank you for your collaboration with us. As a result of the valuable help from the Sindh government, we have been expanding programs in the area of genomics, in the area of virology, in forensic labs, in the girls' hostel, and a whole range of other programs, you see, and the whole COVID testing facility was also expanded. So thank you for all your help, and we continue to look for your continued support. This institute is, we are striving for excellence all the time. So we have produced 2 fellows of Royal Society London. We have 1 UNESCO Science Prize. We have 28 civil awards. We don't have a very large faculty, about 80, but 28 civil awards, including 1 Nishane Imtiaz, 4 Hilale Imtiaz, more than a dozen Sitara Imtiaz, and a whole range of others. So this is we are striving for excellence. There's no upper limit to excellence, but we continue to strive to make ourselves better and to focus on our weaknesses, which I'm sure are many, but we need, through our international collaborations, to learn from the learned colleagues who are visiting us and to continue to try to improve ourselves. The German collaboration, Professor Ifner, as you know, especially with Tübingen University, goes back almost 50 years. It was Professor Wolfgang Folter of Tübingen University who first visited us in 1977. And so this institute is essentially a German baby, as I was just mentioning to our Honorable Consul General. And that collaboration that started in 1977 materialized in large number of our students being trained in Germany, especially in Tübingen University, but also in other German universities. It was also solidified through a magnificent grant of 4.8 million Deutschmarks at that time, a lot of money at that time for the development of the spectroscopic facilities, actually 2 different grants, 2.3 million and another 2.5 million. Professor Leonard Siddiqui was the founding director, and he had very strong linkages with Germany, and that set the ball rolling at that time. I was also there as his co-director. And then since that collaboration has then expanded, resulting in sizable grants of 2.3 billion Japanese yen, one of the largest grant that Japan has ever given to any country abroad. Over $8 million from USA, the Office of Naval Research, for our work on marine biosciences. Over £1 million from UK for our collaboration with the University of Sussex, and so on. I could go on. So our focus has not been just focused on local collaborations and looking for government funding, and so every faculty member in the institute is judged every year by his ability to win national and international grants. If you're good enough, you should be able to win funds, you should be able to write competitive projects and win funding. And so this is one of the challenges we pose. Another aspect has been the remarkable public-private partnership with contribution initially from the Hussain Ibrahim Jamal Foundation, the late Mr. Latif Ibrahim Jamal, and now his son, Mr. Aziz Jamal, and then Nadra Panjwani Saiba, and of course, and more lately, Searle Pharmaceuticals, Rashid Abdullah and his grants. So this has been a very strong public-private partnership also in this institution. One focus here has been on promotion of entrepreneurship. It's all very well to publish papers and produce PhD students, which are all very, very important. So we have set up a separate set of buildings for promoting entrepreneurship. And there are some 40 companies now operating here with new startups which are provided mentoring and support so that our students and outside good young people who have bright ideas can form their own companies. And so this should become a hub of industrial development in Pakistan, not just for education. That's another focus here. We are also the hub of distance education in Pakistan. And so the Latif Ibrahim Jamal Science Information Center, located in our institute, has organized some 5,000 lectures, 5,000 lectures internationally. And that's a huge amount of input. And we have near network to all the universities in Pakistan. And these are then broadcast, these are then delivered live and interactively. They're also recorded. So foreign lectures, so many of the foreign scientists here, you may want to join in this initiative if you're not already here. And we can then plug you in, and then all the universities in Pakistan then benefit from these interactive lectures, which are then recorded and also are available for viewing on our website. So that again, and here, Madam, we would like to strengthen the collaboration with universities and research centers in Sindh, not only in research, but also Siren is already there, but also in this lecturing program. And we have, there are thousands of lectures of the Khan Academy. 3,000 have been translated into Urdu and put inside this integrated version of MOOCs, massive open online courses that we have created with permission from Stanford, MIT, Harvard, and a whole range of other universities. So these lectures, which are free of charge, there are tens of thousands of lectures in our massive open online course platform. No registration, no payment, school level, college level, university level. And we have built in a search engine so you can search by discipline, medicine, agriculture, health, etc., whatever it is. And so it's a very robust search engine, and this is constantly expanding, this whole hub of knowledge. And this was set up about 8 years ago, but the importance of distance education has now come into the vogue, especially with COVID. It's highlighted the effectiveness. And since it covers all the way from school to university, here again, Madam, we would like your government's support to publicize these, and so that they are properly utilized to improve not our school education and college education and university education. We are particularly happy to have our Parliamentary Secretary of Health here, sir, Mr. Sumro. Welcome here, Dr. Sumro. Very kind of you to be with us. And we would like this program that I'm talking about, MOOCs, and the other health programs. One of our latest initiatives, Madam, sir, is a large center of excellence of artificial intelligence in health, applications of AI in health. This is the first such center in the country. It is under development, and we are sending a large number of people for training abroad so that one can analyze images and other things using AI technologies, which are now in the vogue. So this center will, I think, become fully operational within the next couple of years. And that would be another area that we are expanding into, AI in health sciences. I don't want to take too much of your time. I just thought I'll give you a flash outlook of what's happening and what's going on. I would like to thank our Vice Chancellor Khalid Iraqi Saab, who has been so kind and supportive, sir, in every way, for your support to this center. And we continue to look forward to your collaboration. One thing that perhaps you may not be aware of, our Minister of Health had announced last time that there was every year we'll be getting a grant of 400 million rupees recurring budget from the Ministry of Health. So we are very grateful again, Madam, for your kind support to this institute in the form of a recurring budget, which will greatly help to strengthen the collaborations within SIN and continue us on our path to strive for excellence. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. A very good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Now I feel honored to invite His Excellency Dr. Ashraf Fazal Pechuhu on Her Excellency Dr. Ashraf Fazal Pechuhu, Honorable Minister Health and Population Welfare, Government of Sindh, for the inaugural address.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Professor Dr. Khalid Mahmood Iraqi, Vice Chancellor of University of Karachi, Professor Dr. Atal Rahman, Patron ICCBS, Professor Dr. Muhammad Iqbal Chaudhry, Director ICCBS, Professor Dr. Thomas Ifna, Director Medical Virology Institute, Tübingen University, His Excellency Dr. Lutz, and secretaries and government officials, distinguished scientists from home and abroad, health professionals, members of diplomatic corps, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a great pleasure to be here today. I'm always very pleased when I come here because there's so much to learn and so much to look forward to. And obviously, when there's a bright star on the horizon, like ICCBS, it feels, it makes your heart glow also. So that's what happens whenever I come here. It is this IPVS, or International Papilloma Virus Symposium, at Dr. Panjwani Center for Molecular Medicine at the ICCBS University of Karachi. The idea of organizing this scientific public outreach, actually it's an outreach event because we wanted to create awareness of the existence of HPV, human papilloma virus, and its its effects on our women, and obviously high mortality rate, extremely painful cancer, and it results in loss of young women. And obviously, if it is preventable, we should go out there and prevent this from happening to our women. Unfortunately, we have breast cancer, the largest killer and the largest number of cancers in women is breast cancer. It's followed by cervical and uterine cancer and ovarian cancer. So really speaking, the reproductive system of women is really hugely affected by cancer. And we are, in the health department, we've already in the parliament launched a reproductive health rights bill. And it is the right of a woman that we give them the security and prevention methods if they are available. And this is one of the ways that we will reduce the mortality within our women, and adolescent girls are to be vaccinated. We are starting. Unfortunately, what happened was that this flood hit us. Otherwise, we would have started looking for funds for procuring the vaccine, HPV vaccine. And unfortunately, the flood hit us, and everything was derailed. And it's a human tragedy of enormous proportions. And I think never has the world seen the scale of this devastation that has occurred. And because climate change is there for us, it's a reality now. And I think the world is becoming more and more aware of the fact that climate change is now going to be a reality which we have to face year on and year end. It's the scale of human suffering that goes with it that is really heartbreaking. And it really results in us thinking back to what we are leaving behind as legacy for our children. And this legacy of climate devastation and disaster is going to haunt our children in the next few generations that are to follow, unless we now step forward and take actions to prevent it from happening. And I think there's very little will in the general globe, in the world around us, to really address the issue of climate change and to seek methods and ways of preventing this disaster. And it's very unfortunate, but I think we all know that scientists are the first ones who rang the bell for climate change. And there was hardly any voice, any person who listened to them. And when people do not listen to scientists who are ringing the bell for disaster, this is what happens. And I think we have been very unfortunate in that. The scientists, even with the best of minds, people have not been able to be aware of the fact that these disasters are there to haunt us forever. However, coming back to the topic of HPV, really speaking, the only two ways to eliminate the disease is by doing extensive screening of women of their reproductive age, and doing extensive adolescence vaccination so that these girls will not be exposed to the virus, or they become immune to the virus. So really speaking, these are the only two methods which we have to prevent and to eliminate the HPV, followed by obviously human papillomavirus infection, and then followed by cancer of the cervix. We are unfortunate in that we are a developing country where health facilities are not really up to the mark where they should be. They're not the best of facilities. We are striving to get the health facilities there for everyone, so that all our women who are coming to our health facilities are screened for HPV, and therefore we are able to detect early changes in the cervix, so that we can do some curative means to get rid of the virus itself if it is there. But unfortunately, early detection has not been possible for us because we haven't been screening our women effectively. And that's one of the things that our gynecologists and obstetricians should learn about. And this awareness symposium, I think, will go a long way in setting up the pace and setting us on the way forward for organizing ourselves and making people aware that this is a disease that can be prevented, that can be eliminated, and that's why we should be looking towards doing that. The health department is very cognizant of it. Hopefully, once this crisis is over, we'll come back on the nitty-gritties of doing the things that are really important for us, and we are able to do it because now all my doctors, my whole staff is engaged in just firefighting. We are doing relief work, health camps, we have thousands and in fact millions of people who are requiring health care. And there's a slight epidemic of malaria, dengue, gastroenteritis. We've also got patients with respiratory diseases, skin problems on a huge scale, and all these diseases require a lot of not only resources but also human effort and endeavors, as well as the health department being mobilized there and reaching out to each and every person who's ill. So unfortunately, that's what we are doing, firefighting at the moment. Hopefully this crisis, we overcome this crisis, then come back to business as usual, which is regarding putting in more effort on prevention and prevention of all diseases that can be eliminated, not only HPV, but also other diseases which are out there and which require our attention. So my ministry is currently obviously engaged in handling this epic challenge of recent catastrophe of floods. Our province and our people are affected the most, and thus we have tremendous responsibility of not only providing them basic necessities of life, that is food, water, shelter, but also protect them from numerous life-threatening diseases, including dengue, gastroenteritis, waterborne infections, skin disorders, etc. In the midst of all these challenges, I'm striving to strengthen women's healthcare system. So we are looking out there for all pregnant women, getting them antenatal care as soon as possible, and providing them with obstetric care wherever needed. So I am a strong believer that only a healthy mother can raise healthy families. Cognizant of the fact that HPV immunization of adults and girls can substantially reduce the risk of cervical cancer, we are in the process of initiating a well-structured immunization initiative along with international partners in high-risk populations. Similarly, my ministry has already initiated HPV screening in several maternity centers of megacities of Sindh. However, look forward to advice and technical support of our international partners in this endeavor, and that is why I think your role here will be very crucial and critical for us. I'm pleased to see that the finest research institution, ICCBS, Hussain Ibrahim Jamal Research Institute of Chemistry, and Dr. Panjwani Center for Molecular Medicine and Drug Research is striving to upgrade their capacity in human resources in the frontiers of research and graduate training in health and biomedical sciences. These centers are excellent examples of vision and patriotism of the leading philanthropists who invest in the future of young bright Pakistanis through higher education. These institutions also represent a strong commitment of our scientists and researchers towards science and technology based development of Pakistan. Personally, for me, visiting this Center of Excellence is always a reassuring and gratifying experience. So it is also, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a firm believer in the potential of science and technology for human well-being only through conducting scientific research relevant to the national needs and applying the results in decision-making process is the way for achieving sustainable socio-economic development. In this endeavor, science and technology centers of excellence play a central role and must therefore be supported in all circumstances. Being the Chancellor of a prestigious academic institution, Shahid Zulfikar Ali Bhutto Institute of Science and Technology, ZALIS, I know how much it takes to build institutions of high caliber. This requires lifelong struggle, unconditional commitment, unparalleled leadership, skills, and sincerity of purpose against all odds. Therefore, I recognize the contribution of Professor Dr. Auditorium and Professor Iqbal Chaudhry in what they're doing here. And recognition of internationally reputed scientific excellence of the ICCBS, my ministry has decided to support various programs and initiatives in ICCBS. As a result of several high-quality research facilities were established, all relevant to public and official needs of the province. These include the SIM Forensic DNA and Serology Lab, the upgradation of the Chemical Bacteriological Lab, support for the completion of BSL-3 of the National Institute of Virology COVID-19 testing facility, the Sino-Pakistan Center for Traditional Medicine Research and Development, establishment of first ever regenerative medicine center in Pakistan with the large GMP stem cell production facility for the treatment of burns and chronic pain patients, strengthening of bioequivalence and bioavailability center, pharmaceutical testing laboratories, and National Institute of Virology. So ladies and gentlemen, my full support is to this institute, and I continue to do so, and will continue to as long as I'm the Minister of Health. So really speaking, it's in and beyond also when I'm not the Minister of Health. So at the end, I would also once again like to thank Vice Chancellor Professor Iraqi, Patron in Chief Dr. Rahman, Professor Rahman, Director Professor Iqbal Chaudhry, and the entire ICCBS team for having invited me to this important occasion. I assure you of my firm commitment and of that of my government and ministry towards further strengthening and upgradation of this world-renowned institute of Pakistan. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Madam. I request Professor Dr. Atyatul Wahab, Professor at Dr. Panjwani Center for Molecular Medicine and Drug Research for the vote of thanks.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Respected Chief Guest, Excellency Minister Azra Fazal Pichiho, honorable guest of honor, dignitaries, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, my dear students. Assalamu alaikum again. I, as coordinator of organizing committee of the IPVS Satellite Symposium on Human Papillomavirus and Cervical Cancer, feel honored to give the vote of thanks on behalf of my colleagues. The presence of Minister Azra Fazal Pichiho in this meeting reflects her passion to overcome the disease burden in Sindh and raise awareness to the society about HPV-related cervical cancer that can easily be prevented through vaccine. The presence of Excellency Rudiger Lotz, Consul General Germany, represent the strong friendship of Germany with this institution, which is spread over 6 decades. We will remain in debt to Ms. Nada Panjwani Sahiba for the establishment of PCMD and her continuous support to strengthen the institute. We are grateful to all eminent scientists, scholars, medical doctors, and nurses who traveled from different countries of the world and across Pakistan to make this event successful, and to those who are joining the event online. We also pay great appreciation to Professor Lawrence Banks, Professor Suzanne Garland, Professor Thomas Ifner, Professor Patty Gravitt for putting their efforts to this mission of protecting girls and women from suffering with cervical cancer This reflects their love and commitment to help Pakistan in this noble cause. We would like to pay our heartfelt gratitude to our beloved teacher and mentor, Professor Dr. Muhammad Iqbal Chaudhry, for his enormous efforts, minute-to-minute guidance, and support during the whole period of organizing this symposium. Thank you, sir. We are also thankful to Professor Thomas Effner, a distinguished virologist and a great friend of Pakistan and our institute, who is not only mentoring budding virologists in National Institute of Virology, but also putting his efforts in strengthening virology research in Pakistan. Thank you, sir, for your continuous guidance in organization of this event. Certainly, the organization of this event is not possible without a teamwork of all faculty members of the ICCBS, PCMD, and HEJ, and volunteers who have given their heart and work day and night. It is very difficult to name everyone. However, I would like to mention few names: Doctors Saba, Hana, Munazza, Sumaira, Humaira, Muniza, and Saima. We are also thankful to Comstack and Jipago for co-organizing the event. Thank you, Hazima and Dr. Fawzia, for all your coordination. We would like to acknowledge Ms. Tara Uzra Daud from Daud Global Foundation for engaging a stakeholder during the event. Today, we are celebrating the 80th birthday of our respected teacher, Professor Dr. Ataur Rahman, a renowned scientist and a role model of hard work and perseverance, who always has a bright smile on his face. The IPVS Satellite Symposium is also one of the science meetings to celebrate his birthday. Happy birthday, sir. You are always in our prayers. We would also like to thank sponsors of event, including Hologic, Roche Global, Comstack, Pakistan Academy of Sciences, and Jipago. Last but not the least, we deeply appreciate the continuous support of Professor Khalid M. Iraqi, Vice Chancellor, University of Karachi, to our institute. We wish this event will end with lots of success with benefit to humanity. Thank you so much. Jazakallah.
Okay, so bit of a housekeeping announcements, but let me welcome President of the King Foundation, Dr. Zubaida, with us. We have representatives of Ministry of Health, WHO, Chicago, and then we have Wing Commander of Rangers here, providing us security for SFDL and nuclear magnetic resonance spectrometers, representatives of Ministry of Science and Technology and IT, of SIN, and so many guests from all around. I would request you to kindly proceed for the lunch. And during this time, the media is requested opinion makers of today. Yeah, so we would have a group photo first with the foreign guest here. And after that, I would request you to kindly proceed to the Golden Jubilee Hall for the lunch. And Minister would address the media questions relevant to the topic of today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
There's another announcement. The session for International Symposium in Science will resume at 2 p.m. So all the participants are requested to be here at 1:55 p.m. And IPVS session will be started at 2:30.